Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Meditation Museum. Do we have any first-time visitors today? Quite a few. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you'll continue to come out and visit us at the Meditation Museum. We have this location as well as another location in Tysons Corner, Virginia. For all of you first of all, let me mention that we're broadcasting live on Facebook today. So if you'd like, could you take out your phone and share it with your friends? And you can also use the hashtag Brahma Kumaris or Meditation Museum. Okay. Now, for those of you who are here for the first time, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Meditation Museum. We're operated by the Brahma Kumaris, which is a worldwide spiritual organization. We have 8,000 branches in 120 countries. And as I mentioned before, we operate this center as well as one in Tysons Corner, Virginia. So today we have a wonderful program with Sister Jenna, Dr. Kanu Kogard, and Mira Patel, and they'll share tips on how we can maintain our own awareness of our own self-respect and how we can better take care of ourselves. Now I'd like to introduce Sister Jenna. Sister Jenna is the director of the Meditation Museum at both locations, and she also hosts the America Meditating radio show. Sister Jenna she serves as an evolutionary leader in service to conscious evolution, and she was selected by Empower a Billion Women 2020 as one of 100 influential leaders of 2015. And she also served as a principal partner with the Oprah Winfrey Network and Values Partnership on the Belief Team, which was a community of individuals of diverse spiritual, cultural, and faith backgrounds. Dr. Kanu Kogard, who's on her way, she's an anthropologist and organizational development specialist who's known for co-designing and implementing the award-winning Leadership Alchemy program for 7 years with NASA. And having spent most of her life on a spiritual path, Kanu has been able to integrate her professional expertise with her spiritual approach. And our next guest is Mira Patel, who's very modest. Mira focused on the fact that she's a mother of 2 young children, a 2.5-year-old and also a 4-month-old. And she transitioned from working full-time to part-time after having her children. And she presently works with government information technology and also as a holistic health coach. And now I'd like to welcome our dear director, Sister Jenna.
What's your name?
Oh, Antonia. I've been a student here for 7 years.
She's getting better with her emceeing. I love it.
I don't like to do that.
But you know what we love here? We love to build the capacity of everyone who studies here. And if you ever let me know what you're scared of or you're not good at, I'm going to definitely push you right into it, because we have to break these limitations. And even I myself have to, I still encounter areas in my life that I don't feel 100% secure yet, and so I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. So thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm glad you can come out. I came over to the museum at 2 and traffic was backed up. Talk about some serious self-care needed. And self-respect. And I was thinking about all of you too. I was like, I know this is going to be an evening where everyone's going to be like, oh my God, I didn't know the traffic was like that. But it's okay. I was at the Jewish American Heritage Celebration at the Kennedy Caucus Room on the Hill 2 days ago, and I happened to have, when I got through security, I had seen the board that basically said it was room SD, whatever, and I started to go towards that room, but my phone confirmation said it was the Kennedy room, which was somewhere else. So anyway, after I kind of saw a lot of folks wearing their, what do you call the thing that the Jewish? Thank you. And they were all going that way, so I said, they must be going to the same place I'm going, right? So I just casually began to follow behind them. But then intuitively, I kind of felt like I don't know, this thing is saying another room. This is saying another room. So I decided to follow what my invite was saying, and I went to the security officer on the hill and I says, I'm going to this event, and this is the room I'm supposed to be in, but I don't think I'm supposed to be going here. Turned out that I was going the completely opposite direction. So here's my thought about self-care. It was a very important function, by the way. It was honoring all the Jewish leadership that we have in the country at this time, and it was the day that President Trump pulled out of the Iran deal. So it was a lot that was going on the Hill at that time. So I was moving over in the wrong direction, but I felt like I had to go to another direction, and I just knew it was okay if I was going to be late. I was caring for myself. Now you must understand the vibrations on the hill is very intense. The minute you walk in those walls, it's like you're in this vortex of like, you know, and you can get really pulled into it. And I was just like, well, that's your energy, but I'm not going to go there. So I know I'm already late. Let me take my time. Where is this place? So finally I got there about maybe 15 minutes late. And it was so kind of Joseph, who was at the door, and he says, Sister Jenna, we've been waiting on you. Oh, God, we're so glad you made it. And I got my seat. He told me to sit up in the front. I thought it would be rude. There was Senator Van Hollen that was already speaking. Why? I just can sit in the back. I'm fine. Let me sit in the back and not create a stir. So here's what I think self-care is. It's to be very genuine to yourself, despite whatever the outside is trying to pull you into. Get that? Self-care is to be genuine to yourself, despite what the outside is trying to pull you into. Many, 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 many reasons are there for us to make the outside situation so important that you have to do it the way the outside world wants you to do it. There are many, many reasons that you must comply by the vibrations of the external world dealing with it. I have another nice story about self-care. I flew in on, when was the wedding? Saturday. Thank you. I flew in on Saturday. I was feeling a little physically tired and emotionally because I was going through a lot of stuff and a lot of work. And I had promised my beautiful sister, Dr. Patel, that I would attend her daughter's wedding as best as I could. I tried my best, that I would try my best to make it. Now, one of the things, I don't usually attend a lot of weddings because I tend to be like, oh my God, give me the tissue. But anyway, needless to say, I needed to sleep. I needed to rest my body. So by the time I got in, took a shower, took it easy, it's like about 1:32. The wedding started at 3. So I told my colleague with me, and I says, Manu, let's just just give me an hour, and then when I get up, let's just see how I feel. So while I'm resting for an hour, I kept feeling Smita's thoughts on me. And I sat up in my bed and I said, is this Smita thinking of me? Because I know she's way too busy. Or is it just me thinking that I really wanted to be there to support her and her child? I don't have an answer to the question yet. But all I know is by the time I got prepared and dashed out the door, it was about 4:30 by that time, or 4 o'clock at the time. And my colleague says, oh, Sister Jenna, we're late, it's 3 o'clock. I go, I know, but at least let me just show up. Would you believe the moment I got into the Ritz-Carlton and we finally found our way to where the wedding was, there was Smita and Tarun, mother and father, about to enter into the hall right before the whole wedding ceremony. So you know how organizers are. Okay, get everybody out of the way. And it's just them, and I just happen to have just nobody usually sees me when I walk in a room because we're so quiet. So I just like, oh, Tarun, I'm here, tell me where to go. And there's Dr. Smita, come, you have to go in front of us. You have to go before. And I'm like, no, I'm not supposed to do that. because we're going to crash your wedding, your daughter's wedding. So it turns out that I responded to her wish, and she says, you come, you go before, bless the wedding. So I went in, and as humble as I could, I was like, okay, fine. And we ran to the corner. Sure enough, everyone is looking at us, crossing over the bride's mother and father. But why I'm telling you the importance of the story is that this event of attending the wedding was on my mind. My heart wanted to be there, but my body was having some issues. My emotions were having issues like, okay, I need to find more energy now to step up to this occasion, right? But I still listened to the fact that I need this rest. I really needed it. And sure enough, because I was true to my feelings, I was still able to rise up at the right time, get dressed, head out. And didn't we get there exactly at the right time?
Usually the mothers don't attend the Bharat. So I had about 45 minutes to myself before Sister Jenna arrived, and I was doing like Om Shanti and all these party planners were saying, are you okay? I said yes, because I had the whole place to myself. So I said, I'm going to do this Om Shanti while everyone else is dancing. And I was thinking about Sister Jenna, and when I saw her, it was like such a canning intuition that she was just there. And I think her presence really made everything go so smoothly, and everything was so peaceful. And I was so anxious because I was tired of 5-day wedding celebration. And then I think once I saw Sister Jenna, I just let it go. And I think I was just by myself, and it was nice and quiet and peaceful.
Thank you. So I didn't know that you were oming before I arrived, because when I got up, I just felt like she was calling me. And I wasn't sure if Dr. Patel was calling me or if my heart just wanted to be there. But here's the mystery and the magic of it all. Because I think we were all listening to our deepest feelings. I needed rest, I needed to be true. The magical moment for my arrival took place exactly at the right time. And we were able to fulfill that wish. And I had a fantastic time. Now you want to hear a lovely little secret story? So I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying the whole thing. How many of you have attended an Indian wedding? Once in a lifetime experience you must do. They go on and on and on and on. And it's beautiful, right? The decorations, it's just a beautiful environment. Anyway, so here comes Priya, Dr. Smita's daughter, and she walks in, and the song that's playing, and I'm getting this overwhelming feeling of emotions over me. And I'm listening to my thoughts going, what is wrong with you, girl? Now you need to stop. And that's how I talk to myself. I talk to myself where I need to, because self-care is to be able to pay attention to what's going on inside of you first. So this was a very beautiful scene that I was witnessing, and I could give you a whole bunch of ideas of what I was thinking. Oh, they're losing their daughter, they're gaining a son, they're going to have kids next, there's going to be this, I really want them to make it, all the thoughts that you go through. And then you can think about your own journey, like what that means to me. What would it have been like if I had gotten married? What was that like? What would I have been able to make the call? So you go through all these thoughts and feelings inside of you, and if you can keep identifying what your thoughts are trying to signal to you, it's a form of self-care. Because we need to establish a very open, honest relationship with ourselves so that we can be honest with one another, so that we can be okay with one another. I firmly believe until I'm capable of deeply understanding this energy that's living in my body, this non-physical energy, once I can deeply understand the mysteries of its happening, then I think I can truly, truly live a fulfilling life. So what I'd like to do is to take you on a little slide show scene. One more. Okay, here we go. Let your smile change the world, but don't let the world change your smile. Someone who is taking care of themselves will not allow the outside influences to really disturb their groove. Even though it's very natural and normal that someone will say something, do something, or not do something, and all of a sudden your mood changes. If I'm taking care of myself, I will accept very deeply that I am in charge of the way that I choose to feel. So don't let the outside world change your smile. Let your interior world, the person that you're nurturing from within, take care of you. So how much do you really care about yourself? On a scale from 1 to 10. Don't tell me, just keep it in your mind. 10 being the highest care that you offer yourself. Picking up some 3s and 5s. Next. So let's just look at the self first, right? You've got this energy that's living inside of the body, and it's the non-physical energy. And that's the part of us that we spend the least amount of attention on. It is the soul, it is the Ru, it is the Alma, it is the spirit, it is your life force. It is you, the being. You think, you feel. It's where your memories are, your interpretations, your perceptions, even your desires are living in your non-physical energy. Isn't that amazing? Everything that you absolutely wish for your life is living inside of your non-physical energy. It's not living in the body. It's not under your armpit. It's not in your knee. It's not in your toes. It's not in your great hairdo or anything like that. Your desires are in your non-physical energy, your being, your dreams, your regrets, your expectations, your loves, your needs, your wants, the way you interpret the world. It's living in your non-physical energy. How much do you take care of that part of you? How much are you nurturing your non-physical self? Do you even know how to? Let's say that you have a desire and it's driving you mad, that if you don't get it, you're just going to just fall apart. That's not taking care of yourself. Because that desire is like this bullet, you know, and it's gone out there somewhere and you need to catch it. And if you don't fulfill the desire, it just makes everything in your non-physical energy feel disturbed. Despite everything in your life looking like it's going perfect for you, that desire is basically stomping down on everything that seems perfect for you. It's just messing up everything that feels perfect. Just that one desire. I'll always know when somebody really feels comfortable either in my company or with you in a particular event or circumstance or situation. If they're very anxious or just dissatisfied to be in your company, it's not you. It's the fact that they're desiring to be somewhere else. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And it's not to say that my company isn't good for them. And it's not to say that maybe we're not a good team or a good match or good friends. It's just because that person has allowed a desire to overwhelm their logic and their best abilities. And so it just keeps them going somewhere else. And so it's unfortunate that it's very hard for them to be present. If you've ever found yourself in that situation, please note it down. You're not taking care of yourself. It's one of the most painful places to put yourself in. When you have a lot of things that you can celebrate and be grateful for, but yet you keep shooting out something more that you think is better than what you have. Without any wisdom or even the determination to say, well, I think this is now calling me, my future's calling me, so now let me qualify myself. Many times we don't think of the qualifications to match the desire. We just see the desire and we want it to manifest today. And so that creates a lot of internal disturbance in the spirit. So we can be very, very frustrated with people in our relationships and blame them for the reason why I'm frustrated. And this is why I really urge you to pay attention to you from the inside. If you're frustrated, it's not somebody else's fault. It means, I don't like this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this energy of people. But why? Then you identify why. What's it about? Where do you think you're supposed to be? Are you vibrating at the level that you think you're supposed to be at? There's a reason why you're there. There's a reason why you're with that person. There's a reason why you're in that job. There's a reason why you're in that marriage. It's perhaps helping you to build the energy needed to get you to your next destination. But if you keep arguing about it, shaming it, blaming it, never looking at the role that you need to play in this, then you stay there. And you stay frustrated for a long time. So when the soul is feeling very frustrated, that isn't self-care, that's self-abuse. That's abuse to the spirit. And when my soul is abused, then I become weaker. Weaker in determination, in dreaming, in creativity, in being inspired, in just loving. So now, there's also the physical senses. It's governed by our 5 senses. The physical part is, you can connect it to a house, a car, your clothes, your titles, your jobs, your possessions, your religion, your nationality, your race. We take care of a lot of that a lot. A lot of us get dressed, we do our nails, we color our hair, we use a lot of our energy to purchase a home that we have to keep working for to pay the mortgage. We get nice cars, we have to pay for the cars. A lot of our focus can sometimes get directed more to the physical than the non-physical. Would you agree? Would you agree? So when you are focusing more on your physical life to be okay, when you're focusing more on trying to sustain or acquire the physical, and your non-physical energy isn't really taking care of itself, that isn't taking care of myself at all, nor is it respecting who I am. And so you find that many of us have even acquired a lot of things that we've earned or deserve, but yet we're not completely happy. And I'll guarantee this, if you can ask yourself right now if you're happy, and if you can truthfully say, yes, I am, you're taking care. If you answer, I could be better, there's a need for more care. If you answer and say, I have not been happy for a long time, this is going to be a really great session for you this evening. Okay, next. So when I looked up the meaning of the word care, it's the provision of what is necessary for your health, welfare, maintenance, protection of someone or something. You know, it's safekeeping, it's making sure something is in good condition, you're a trustee, you're paying a lot of attention, you feel concern, you care, you sometimes, we tend to care for things that are not necessarily our own. I don't know about you, but if you give me something, I will take better care of it than I will take care of my own. Only because if I break it, I got to pay you back, and I don't have it. So it's just like, you have to think about it. To what extent are you a very caring person? And so I recommend that if I need to recognize how much care I carry as a person, I definitely first, I focus on the quality of my thoughts. Am I someone who's able to take a negative situation and make it positive? Or am I someone who will take a positive situation and make it negative? Are you a caring person? Second thing. Second way of looking at how much I care about myself is how well do you dress? How well do you nurture your body? In our culture, we at least bathe 2 to 3 times per day, just to keep washing off any vibrations that we might pick up when we're out there on the streets. I'll never go to bed without taking a shower after being out all day. And it's just a very simple activity, isn't it? Takes you 5 minutes to take a quick bath and wash off all that energy of the day. But it's a form of care too. It's like you're caring for the body. And so to bathe it 2 to 3 times a day is a really nice way of saying I really care about the energy that I bring in my home especially in my bed. The third thing is how you dress. Your clothes is clean, neat, put together. It's got not a big price tag on it that if Kool-Aid falls on it, you don't get upset with anybody. You know, those dresses that used to cost like $1,000 or $2,000. God forbid if something spilt on it, it's like your whole life is ruined. But the whole thing is about the way you carry yourself is also a sign of care. And then your physical environment around you in your home. I have some visitors coming in this evening, and they're going to be staying with me for about 2 months. And I was thinking to myself about the home and the house, and, you know, is the house in the condition that it needs to be if the Queen was visiting me? And that's how our homes have to be. As if royalty is coming to visit. I remember when my very good friend visited, I don't know if she's watching today, but Princess Basma was coming by to spend a night or two. And I remember with everyone at the house, we were like, oh, this is going to be so cool. We have a princess in the house. And so because we were so accustomed to serving individuals of a high standard, me and the whole staff didn't have to go through anything extra just to take care of her when she visited. And so I recommend that the way that you treat yourself, let it be in a way that if really royalty was coming to see you, you wouldn't be much difference. This is a way that we develop the practice and the habit that I want to take care of me. I want to be okay. All right? Simple? Right? Even once a week. Let it be like Princess, what's her name coming? Meghan Markle? The first American princess. Woohoo! What a time, huh? Wow. Okay, next. All right, so self-respect, your pride, your confidence, the way you carry yourself, the way you feel about yourself. It's a kind of a... Gosh, I look at self-respect like an individual who... A person who makes choices knowing that there are consequences behind these choices, and so by when they choose, they want their minds to be at peace. It's a person with self-respect to me. Like every decision that I make, 10 years, 20 years down the road, I should be okay with myself. Now, I'm not saying that certain decisions that we make 10 years down the road, we don't realize, I can't believe I did that. Because I've done a lot of things in my 20s that I can't believe I did, and I wouldn't like to propagate it to you on the stage today, because it's not important. However, it's just that when you really have your self-respect and self-worth about you, it will naturally show itself in your choices. Because you now carry the understanding, this is going to carry a consequence for the rest of my life. So if I honor myself and I value myself, then I make decisions to sustain my value and my honor, even though I know that there'll be room for growth. Because who am I learning from? Oh, I won't call any names, but it's just a lot. I've been processing a lot for the last few months. And I can't tell you, there's so many stories, from being with a transgender to being with a person who used their body for money, to being with a person who had gone on drugs, to all of that. And all of these individuals were cleaning up their act. And they were stepping into their own power and their own dignity. And every one of those individuals taught me more about the importance of living a life of acceptance. And I cannot judge a single human being on the planet, because everyone is a work in progress. And I think when you see individuals who have been sort of down in the dumps and perhaps have kind of stopped taking care of themselves, you tend to maybe judge them very quickly. And then you see them 10 years later, and they're on top of their game and they're doing great, and you're like, wow. You accept them, you're like, you're doing good. And we should have accepted them too when they were down in the dumps, knowing that's just what they had to do at that time. So I find that when you're carrying your self-worth and your self-respect, you kind of have this in you as a wiring that you're cultivating and building more and more as you apply it in your everyday existence. Next. Thoughts. So our thoughts are the foundation of our reality. So just a little bit of a meditation just for another minute or two. Close your eyes and take a deep breath, and I'd like you to figure out for yourself today, how much have you been positive today in your thinking, or even maybe you could identify some negative thoughts as well. Were your thoughts wasteful or constructive? Think about it a little. When the thoughts are positive, how do you feel? When the thoughts aren't so positive, how do you feel? How well did you do today for you? Your thoughts are your foundation. I was telling Kanu and Mira and a few, also Reverend Sylvia, I says, guys, I'm struggling with this topic to talk about. I don't know what to talk about self-care. And they all know I'm very much of a driven spirit. And I said, my only agenda that I have about taking care of myself is keeping my thoughts pure and in check. And that's my whole lecture. And that's only 30 seconds. So what more am I going to talk about for the next hour? So Kanu helped me out today, and also Mira, they're helping me out today. And so I just wanted to thank them for their care in supporting me today, because if it was up to me, I would have just been with you for 2 seconds. All right, next. I think that's it. So self-care, the way I think and I feel inside, how I treat my surroundings. I mentioned these earlier, and you will get these also on your Facebook Live if you need to write them down. The food that you eat has a lot to do with how you take care of yourself, the way you take care of your physical body, and especially the way that you are responding to events. I was telling Reverend Sylvia, I've been in this junk food crave. I was just, for the last, 2-3 months, I'm just not eating healthy. And I consider my mind to be a very strong mind. So I'm wondering, why am I eating so much junk? And then I realized that there's something in my body that must be broken down or breaking down, that my body's craving certain foods that I don't necessarily eat like I do. So then I came to realize, oh, that makes sense. You know, there's got to be a reason, because I wouldn't treat my body like that unless there wasn't an influence going on. So taking care of your body is going to be really important in self-care as well. And Dr. Kogod will definitely help us, and Mira. I think that's it. Next. The Supreme Ah. As I told you earlier, that I deeply believe the quality of our thoughts has everything to do with how we take care of ourselves. And a lot of us are also beginning to realize to include the thought of a God energy, a supreme energy, a supreme intelligence, whatever you want to call God in your form, in your language, in just the way that you feel about this energy. It's going to be so important for us to pull the energy of the source more into the quality of our thinking. So whether you call it Jah, Jehovah, Krishna, whatever, this energy of God, my investigation of this energy of God is that love and purity and peace and power is at an all-time ultimate level of supremacy. Like, it's really huge. It's unlimited. It's like the ocean. So now if I'm like a pond or a lake or a little river, then if I can just connect my energy with that source, then perhaps I can love a little more. I can be peaceful a little more. I can be more understanding because I'm connected to the source that has that capacity. So however you pray, however you meditate, whatever is your God in your interpretation of your mind, please keep including the energy of that being more in your life. It is an essential need at this age, definitely this time that we're in. So meditating in the awareness of the Supreme Source is going to be essential in us becoming higher. Next, I think, Bojala. Remember that word, Bojala. Can you say it? Wow, that sounds good. That sounds like that should have been in Wakanda movie. So whenever you think of Bojala, first use the B, breathe more. Just keep taking deep breaths. Just even try now and see how you feel, and you just take a really good deep breath. Observe more. Don't always be so wanting to fix everybody, fix everything, get involved, do it. Just be a little bit more of a witness, observe, and see where you can learn from this scene. Judge less. Very, very huge. Bold, highlight, amplify. Stop judging yourself so that you can stop judging people. Judge less. Ask the right questions so that the soul can be triggered to always be engaged. There's nothing more boring than sitting with someone in a car or in a house or an apartment and nobody's asking nobody any questions. Oh, hello? Okay. Had a good day? Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's like, question me. Like, what's up? What did you do? Did anyone disturb your spirit? Did you have a realization this week? How did you do dealing with all those people at the so-and-so? Like, yeah, you know, keep asking your own mind's question so that you can begin to have an engaging dialogue within your own being. Listen more. It's not always the easiest thing for teachers, especially. It's good for psychiatrists, but it's not so great for teachers because teachers think they know more, so they listen less. And parents tend to not really always be the best listeners because they carry a kind of an understanding of their kids and their spouses already. But I really want to emphasize, try to hear what folks aren't telling you. Can you try that? Try to listen to what they're not really telling you. I was talking to somebody on the phone the other day, and she was giving me this long-winded story about this person and situation. And I just stopped her in the middle. I go, look, I don't need that. Yes or no, is this the situation? Because when I need an answer, I really don't need an autobiography. I just want a yes or a no because my life is very full. So I don't need long stories. I find long stories take us into excuses. And you're trying to weave around something so the person doesn't really see what's going on. But when you ask somebody yes or no, they can't lie to you. So it saves your time and it saves theirs. Easy, no? You're like, well, I don't know, Sister Jenna, that might not work at work. Accept what is with the openness to grow. There are certain things that you and I will never be able to change, but it's imperative that we at least grow into the understanding, I must accept this. And in my accepting, I'm going to grow. Okay, I think that's it. Bojala? Next, and this brings me to, actually I'm going to get Mira up because Mira is the one that I really wanted to have a heart-to-heart, have her have a heart-to-heart conversation with all of you. I've known Mira now for quite a number of years. I'm very close to her parents. And every time I see Mira, I see this incredible energy of potential and capacity. And I was with her from her first child and her second child, even before she got married, and all the stages that I've observed this soul go through, there's always something that I feel Mira always holds on to. And there's something very deep in her that she doesn't let go, at least not in front of me, you do. And so I wanted her to come up as a mother, a wife, an entrepreneur, someone who's been in the workplace and just doing it all, and for her to share a little bit about self-care and self-respect. Mira Patel, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Hi. So, as Sister Jenna mentioned, I have been, self-care is a topic that's been very near and dear to my heart. The past 5 years, there's been a lot of transitions in my life. I moved from Philadelphia to DC, got married, had 2 kids, left my career of 10 years, and started all over again. And so the life that I lived 5 years ago, self-care was just so natural, right? Like it was just me and N of one, and I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. Didn't have to think about anybody. But now, as a mom of two and being an entrepreneur for a business that I'm still learning, it's been a struggle. And as Antonia mentioned, I have a 2.5-year-old and a 4-month-old. And self-care is, the realization of the importance of self-care came, it came to me really strongly after I had my son. Because I think what I was doing was holding on to the idea of what self-care was to me, which was before I was married and I was single. And as Sister Jenna mentioned, self-care is all about where you are in your life and what you need at that moment. So taking care of myself is a responsibility. That is what self-care is to me now. I'm responsible for 5 bodies in my home: my husband, my 2 kids, our dog, and myself. And what happens is at the end of the day, I've taken care of everybody else, made sure everyone has been fed and nurtured, and providing them with an environment that they're thriving in. And then there's me, and I've done nothing for myself at the end of the day because I've done everything that I can, because by nature I'm just very nurturing, and I thought I'm super mom and I can do it all and take care of myself, and there we go. And then it's 10 o'clock at night and I've done nothing. So months and months went by with my son, and I just started to get really resentful towards my husband because, he would go on work travels and have dinner with friends, and I was just too tired to do any of that. So I knew that something needed to change, and it was my expectations of myself and what I needed at that time. And that's when I realized that I cannot wake up and meditate and do my breathing exercises for 30 to 45 minutes every day, because I have a child to take care of. I can't go for long runs. I can't go to the library and read books. I can't journal every night. I just couldn't do those things. And thinking that that's what I needed made me even more frustrated in doing those things. So I had to really manage my expectations and go within and understand what it is that I need. And so that's when I was like, I have to take a responsibility for the way I feel. My family provides me happiness, but if I can't provide myself that happiness, how is that going to resonate with them? So that leads me to my next point of self-care is not negotiable, in that I don't negotiate the wellness and health and safety of my family. But why is it okay for me to negotiate that for myself when I do so much? Well, I feel like I am the glue of my family. And so there's certain things that just aren't negotiable anymore, which is being here tonight. Like I sleep 3 to 4 hours a night. My daughter does not sleep through the night, and I could be home right now, trying to put her to bed and then going to sleep. But I know coming here, what that does for me is it gives me the positive energy and the vibrations that I need to be a better person and to be a better mom, and to have even that moment of reflection in the half an hour drive that I had to come here today. So it's worth it. Like I could have been home and thought, I need to sleep, or I'm too tired. There's always excuses, but you really need to understand what it is that you need as a person. Self-care is small actions that help to restore a sense of balance. Like I mentioned, I don't have the liberty of waking up every morning and meditating. So I find different ways to meditate, i.e. washing the dishes. Like I take that as a mindful meditative practice. I focus on the smell of the soap and the action of, washing the dishes, and the feel of the different temperature of the water. I focus on my thoughts. Like, sadly, that's really the only time of day that I get to go within. I get to hear my own thoughts, and so instead of getting frustrated that I wasn't able to carve out time to sit for 20 minutes, because the reality is right now it's just not for me, but maybe a few months from now it will be. So I'm just trying to learn what it is what actions can I still do throughout the day that will still provide me with those benefits of meditating or doing exercises. Being in the car, driving in the car, waiting at a light, I don't check my phone, I don't read my text messages or look to see which new emails I got. I just sit there and just breathe. I take 4 deep breaths and I'm off. Keep a conscious mind, be aware of what you do, why you do, and how it makes you feel. So I have become very particular or protective over who I spend my time with. You know, I want to surround myself with people that add value to my life, that bring positivity to my life, that challenge me, that bring depth and awareness, because that's what I need right now. I don't need to just go on a coffee date with a friend and just, you know, shoot the shits or just like, you know, whatever. I don't need that. I really need someone that's going to create that buzz in me, you know, that's really gonna get me to think about something that I haven't thought about. Give me fresh perspective on things. I've created a nighttime ritual. My husband is very chatty, and he loves to talk. And I all day long I have a child on me, or I hear mommy, 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 and then my husband comes home, and he just does not like to stop. So I have told him that bedtime, 15 minutes before I go to bed, it needs to be just me. So I go into my bathroom and I get ready for bed. I light a little candle as just a ritual, you know, to like help calm my mind down. And I brush my teeth and I wash my face and I floss. And I don't think about him. I don't think about anything. My daughter may be crying, but that's his job. He can figure it out. And I just be, you know, and it's silly. It's like, what? Well, I brush my teeth, but you know what? Right now in this moment of my life, that's what I need. So you just have to figure out what it is that you need at this moment. If you're working 10, 12, 15 hours a day, that's what you're probably supposed to be doing at this time. But then where can you find your reprieve? Where can you find that time to love yourself throughout the day? And practice, just like anything. You can't just do it once or twice and feel the effects of it. You know, you have to practice, 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 you know, to really reap the benefits of meditation or breathing or healthy eating, or, you know, going to the gym and lifting weights, like whatever it is, like you have to practice to really understand and feel what that's like. And I'd like to end with, this is a personal journey and each day is life-changing. So yeah, it's what I'm feeling right now and what my body and my mind need right now is very different from what it needed 5 years ago. And it's very different from what it's going to need tomorrow. So every day I have to check in with myself, with everything else that I have going on. My day starts at 5:30 or earlier sometimes, but I always check in either while it's getting my son ready for school or nursing my daughter or, you know, making breakfast for my husband. Like, I'm checking in to be like, what do I need today? I know what my family needs. I know what Kaden, our dog, needs. Like, but what do I need? So just continue to challenge yourself in that way. Yeah.
Don't you love her spirit? Right. So because she checks in, and she has the karmic fortune of having a family that also checks in spiritually, but she didn't have to choose it, but she did, you know. So I'd like to now invite Dr. Kanu Kogod up, and she's going to bring us into engagement, sharing, exploring, and to try to find some different techniques as well as to how can I even enhance my ability to take care of myself even better. Dr. Kogod and I have been friends for 20 years in DC, and is a brilliant, brilliant mind and heart. And from I've known Kanu, Kanu is, I think one of the things you've taught me is always to embrace. Like you teach me to keep embracing everyone. And I'm sure everyone's going to feel that when they get a taste of you tonight. Thank you.
So, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all. All these beautiful women. I wish you could have a snapshot of the, it's like you've all been shined on right now. Everyone looks so radiant. It's the golden light coming in. It's just beautiful. So, I am, as Sister Jenna said, also been in a long-term meditation practice. And I'm coming to this point in my life where things are integrating. The three things that I've really cared about the most, that I've done in my career, that I've done in my personal life, and the values that I hold, they're coming together. And it's a great feeling. So when you ask that question, am I happy? I could really say yes, and then my number went up. And I hope that everyone here can say they're happy. And my job now is to get us into thinking about what is one action that we could take. Be thinking about that. One action that we could take that would bring us more self-care. Mira, you just set us up so beautifully. So practically for what it is that's going on in your life, and you gave such practical wisdom. And I think that's what we're really after here, is real practical wisdom that we can apply. Because it's good to get uplifted, to come here and be shined on, and then to actually take that and do something with it. So I put together, I'm going to scroll through this really fast. No, yeah, is it good? Yeah? Oops, I went too far. There. So this is a easy graphic that I put together just recently because I got really excited. I went to the Mindfulness Summit in California, and I wanted to know, how are people taking mindfulness into organizations? What are they doing to really make it practical? And they give all these like tips and everything that's like a lot of stuff to look at. And I thought, okay, what can help us look at something and then make sense of it all in one graphic? So think about something that's triggering you or a pattern. And actually what we're going to focus on tonight is a pattern that you have that you're just like want to be done with. Something that, if you could just get rid of this, if you could just change this, it would be great. You would be really increasing your self-care. So that would be a pattern interrupt. And we have some practices. These things that are in the middle, they're practices that we do. We do it for a reason, a purpose, and then we take action based on that purpose. So this just sets you up for like looking at a graphic overall view. I'm going to go back the other way. So, do you all have paper and pencil? Everybody get paper and pencil? Does anybody need paper? Because you're going to need this. You can use your phone. You can use your phone. You can use paper and pencil. You can, but I think it's better if you write things down because you want to remember what comes up. You need paper? What's that? Bigger. Yeah. It's because I wanted to fit it all on there. So what you're going to do, I'll read it to you so you'll know what it is. It's exactly what Sister Jenna talked about before, which is looking at an area in your life that you would like to improve, and everything that you think, feel, and done about that in the past. So everything, like you just want to get everything down. So let's say something you want to change is, I have one that this is my chronic problem. It's a pattern. It's rushing. It's a terrible, terrible addiction to rushing, right? I always think I have more time than I do, and then I end up rushing. So it's a terrible addiction. So this is a pattern interrupt. So you find something like that you've done for a long time. Maybe it's in a relationship. It may be the way you think and you're criticizing yourself, the way you think inside. It may be how you treat your surroundings. Maybe you're not very neat and you'd like to clean up your house. You know, I think our houses are a reflection of our minds, and when they're really messy, when my mind is messy, my house is messy. It's a perfect reflection. So it's, you know, how I treat my surroundings, the way I treat other people. Is there some relationship that you would like to change, the way you treat that person? The food that you eat. Maybe there's a food that you know you would like to give up. Like, it was really hard for me to give up caffeine. I knew I had to, but I went through withdrawal like it could have been narcotics. It was like 3 months of headaches and all kinds of stuff. It was terrible. But now I don't have to have coffee. It's a wonderful thing. So maybe there's something like that you would just like to get rid of. The way you take care of your physical body. Have you been wanting to go to the gym, or wanting to run, or wanting to practice yoga, and you just haven't done it? You know you want to, or you just do it sporadically and you want to improve that, make that your area. And the way you take care of, and the way you respond to events. Are you quick to criticize? You know, I love Jala, judge less, ask more questions, listen more. Jala. It's great. So, write down now, and I'm going to give you like 2 minutes because I've been talking. So include what has stopped you from changing this. So include everything that you've done in the past, everything that you've tried to do to change this behavior or pattern or actions that you've been doing, and then include in that what has stopped you, and just write and don't stop writing. So just put it all out there. And this is a time where you can say, this has stopped me. My own self-talk of criticizing has stopped me. So you want to come up a level. You don't want to criticize yourself in this. You want to be able to say, I have criticized myself in the past, and I'm not having it anymore. But you know, this is what I've been doing. So be honest with yourself about the things that you've done and the things that you've tried to do that maybe haven't worked. So just keep writing. So Sister Jenna asked, what if you like it and you don't really want to stop it? Then you have to look at like what's underlying it, right? What's underlying it? Like if you have to have that piece of chocolate, but you know, okay, I just don't want that piece of chocolate anymore, that I have to have at 3 o'clock every day because it's really not good for me. It's changing my sugar. So if you have that, if you start to say, but I like it, look at what it's providing you. Look at the comfort that it's giving you. Look at the thing that's really hard for you to give up, because that baby is more important than the other. So it's more important that I have comfort than it is that I give up the chocolate. Stay with the chocolate and give yourself comfort. Okay. You know, I'm just making an observation as I look out at everyone, and I want to tell you what my thoughts are. It's incredible that all of us who are here made the choice to be here, and that everyone is here has a growth mindset. You didn't know what you were getting into, but now you're here and you actually have said, I want to grow, I want to change, I come to this place for a purpose. And so I just want to make that observation because I think it's so incredible that we make that choice. There's something in the plant world called the heliotropic principle. And if you ever have houseplants, you see it all the time. You see how your plant grows to meet the light, and it'll always turn toward the light and try to catch the light. And even like the leaves, you'll see how it'll turn just so it can get the light just right for a certain part of day. There's such an intelligent force in that. And we have that heliotropic principle. It's built into us to grow, to be a part of nature in that way. So we're going to go to step 2 now. Can move it. I think I have to make it smaller. Okay. So now you're going to ask yourself some questions. And you're going to coach yourself. You're going to be your own best coach. And you're going to flip over your paper. So this is going to be on a second paper, not on the same sheet. Because what you just wrote now is private just for you. Nobody sees it. However, the questions that you ask may be great questions, not only for you, but for someone else. So if you were coaching yourself to start to think to do something, or do something differently, what would be the questions you would ask yourself? So one of the jobs that I have is executive coaching. And I coach a lot of like really top level executives. And I noticed that the higher you get in a certain world, you feel like you have to tell more. And the really good leaders listen more and tell less. They ask more and tell less. So there's when you start thinking in questions, it actually changes your brain. You become generative. You start to become more creative. You think by asking yourself a question. And in fact, if you think about it, there's nothing that you do that doesn't start with a question. What should I wear? Should I come? Should I not come? Should I stay home and be with my child? Should I come and take care of myself? Everything that we do, conscious or unconscious, starts with a question. And we want to make those questions conscious to us. Because when you start to make the questions conscious, then you can make more choice. And we can actually see, oh, well, I have a friend. Honest to God, this is my friend. She has so many choices to make, and she uses her body to answer the question. She doesn't trust that her mind is going to answer it. So she has this way of kinesiology, and she shakes her body. And if she moves toward the thing, then she knows, I'm going to do that. If her body moves back, she goes, no good, I'm not doing that. It's really amazing to watch her. She picks out food that way. Should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Should I eat this? I mean, it's really crazy. But the body has an intelligent force. Like, we have to trust that. So write down any questions that you have for yourself that you would like to start asking yourself, and start with 2 words: what, either what or in what ways. So don't make it a closed-ended question like, should I stop drinking coffee, or should I keep eating chocolate, or whatever it is. Whatever is your thing, just ask questions. What does this get me? What does this pattern get me? In what ways has it served me in the past? And what's stopping me from changing the pattern? So anything that starts with a what that will help you move forward, ask the question that starts with what. You can also start a question with in what ways. Oftentimes we start a question with how, and it presumes that there's one right answer, and we're already into problem solving. And if you start the question with in what ways, we're opening up lots of options. So ask your question with what or in what ways. Just keep writing. You got 2 more minutes. I hope you've been writing questions down as I've been talking, blah, 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 blah. Keep writing your questions. Just make a whole list of questions. And actually, I'm going to help you think of some questions. Okay, this is going to be really hard to see. But if you can see it, what is one thing you could do right now that would make a difference about the situation? What are you tolerating? What way of seeing this situation are you attached to? What is waiting for expression? Actually, I'm going to take this off because I want you to be creative and ask yourself your own questions. And you're going to get stuck writing these questions. Those are great questions. You'll have a chance. You'll have a chance. Keep with this one. Ask yourself the personal question first, and then I'll give you those questions. I promise you'll have them. A little music, Santosh, maybe, just for a minute. Okay, 30 more seconds. Just keep writing. Okay. You'll have a chance for more questions. So now, this is where the rubber meets the road. You're going to choose a partner. And just a partner, somebody who's sitting close to you is fine. Or if you came with a friend, you can be with a friend. It doesn't really matter. It's just that you want to have a partner for this because it's really going to be helpful. Don't tell the story. Just describe the thing you want to change. That's it. You don't need a whole story. You really don't. The more that you get the story, the more it stops you from thinking about what could be, and you get caught in what has been. So just stick with the thing that you want to create for the future. And person A, you're going to tell that in 1 minute or less. Person B, your job is to ask questions. And now I will reveal the list to you, but you're going to ask your own questions to the other person first. The relevant ones you're going to ask to that person. Because it's really fun, to hear how somebody else would answer the question that you have about something completely different than your thing, right? It's so fascinating. What would they say about this, right? So we got like about 5 minutes, like 2.5 minutes either way. It's kind of quick, but I think you can do it. And I will time you. I'm going to get my phone out and I'm going to time you. So 2.5 minutes for person. Actually, I'll give you 4 minutes. 4 minutes for person A and person B to do the whole thing. And then I'll tell you when to switch, okay? So 4 minutes, and then I'll tell you when to switch. Just take that whole thing in with lots of questions. If the person starts getting into a story and answers a question with a long story, just say, I've got another question for you. Okay? Like, don't let them get into story and excuses. Just say, you want them to think in the future. Here's the deal. When the future hasn't been created yet, the past is already done. We just accepted what is by going through what we just did on the piece of paper where you put everything down. Now you want to really think, okay, what's going to be for the future? The future hasn't been created yet. This is in the present moment. What do I want that to look like? If I put my intention out there, if I put my heart out there, if I'm in line with Supreme Source, with that supreme intelligence, what would my future look like around this issue that I want to change? So that's where you want to go, okay? All right, don't go to the past. Go. 4 minutes. Now just take 30 seconds to thank your partner and tell them one thing that you appreciate. Thank each other each way, and one thing that you really appreciated about what your partner did with you. So you offer the gratitude for what you just got, because you got some insights, you got some different way of thinking. So offer your appreciation to the other person, and one thing that they did, or one question that they asked that you really liked, okay? 30 seconds. Okay, so you're going to write a declaration of what it is that you really want to shift so that you can have greater self-care, and why. So if you have a one-sentence statement, this is the thing I'm really shifting and why. And it could be bigger than what you started with. So it could have been, you know, I'm going to stop drinking coffee. I'll just give that as an example. It could be, I want to be more conscious about the food that I put into my body. I want every single morsel to be a nurturing thing that I know is good for me. I'm just giving that as a possibility. So you take it up a notch, not just from the thing, and then say why. What will it get you? And that's the intention piece. If you do this thing, what will it get you? Declaration is really powerful. You write down what it is you're going to do, why you're doing it, and then one step, one practice, one practical thing you're going to do differently starting today or tomorrow. Bless you. One thing. And make it a doable thing. Make it really doable. If it's practical wisdom, doable, you'll do it. So if it's just saying, you know, I'm gonna wake up 10 minutes earlier in the morning tomorrow, and you just set your clock 10 minutes earlier. I'm gonna go to bed earlier, set my clock, you know, at a time. I'm really gonna start going to bed at the time I should, because I know it's gonna help me. Whatever that thing is that you really wanna shift, why, what'll get you, and one thing that you're gonna do. That's the action. And now if you got that, you want to cement it into your body. So once you have written that, put your feet flat on the floor. And get comfortable in your chair. Let the chair hold the weight of your body. Just feel yourself getting very still. And hold the declaration in your mind and in your heart. And if you pray, pray for it. If you just want to repeat it to yourself, what the declaration is and why. Cement it into your heart. Cement it into the soles of your feet. Cement it into your body, like ground the thing that you really want into your body. And have that why big enough that you're really going to do it. If you have any questions, there are index cards that Antonio will give you. And if you have questions about the museum, if you have questions about meditation, if you have any questions at all about tonight, you can write your questions down. And I'm going to hand, at this quiet, beautiful moment, I'm handing it over to my wonderful friend, mentor, and teacher.
Can you give her a big hand? So they'll pass around the cards for you. We're doing great with time today. This is what happens when we actually take care of ourselves. You're going to be surprised. Things just fall into place. It's when we're not taking care of ourselves, we're having this chaotic energy. And because sometimes it gets chaotic, we're constantly trying to fix something that we missed because we were too busy and not taking care of ourselves to take care of it. So thank you. Any thoughts or questions that you would like to ask for Dr. Kogod or for Mira or myself that touched you this evening before we go into meditation? Anything inside of you that's percolating?
Sometimes we extend ourselves, right? I think everyone is working and having family. Just like Mira says, she has to take care of her 4 family members, and she gets time to relax at the end of the day. So sometimes one overextend themselves, and it's very hard to say no. So can you just give us some advice on how to have boundaries, and what are we saying no to? So how to say no, and what are we saying yes to?
I'm extremely well known for being a person without boundaries. So it's why I said it's not a good question for me. And I'll tell you why I'm well known for not having boundaries. When I feel spiritually very strong, I don't need boundaries. I feel like my vibrations will be my boundary. I don't have to tell you that's enough. However, when I'm not in a very deep place or a very amplified place of my spirituality, then I find that when I need to say no, it doesn't always come out very sweet. And that's even my signal that there's something wrong with me. Because I even know that I'm not somebody who likes to put boundaries on people. I'm very, very open about those things. And so I think it's important that you observe that. Why is it that sometimes everyone can get away with it? Like, it's okay, let them do. And then there are other times when you might say to yourself, no, that's enough. You know, so I feel, again, I go back to something Dr. Kogod, myself, and Mira actually all shared in the same voice. We have to check the way that we're feeling. So when is it a healthy boundary? Is when I deeply believe I don't have the strength for this right now. Please, we need to stop here. Come back next week. I can't give you this, not now. If I give it to you, it just won't be good. I've had times where I'm not doing very well and I'll tell the staff, this isn't a good day, I'm just not in a good season, I'm going to need your help. And because I share that with the staff and everyone, they're able to just know where Sister Jenna's at, so I get the response in a way that they're taking care of me too. So I feel that our boundaries can also be conveyed in a way that is very honest to the people around you. Now, I am remembering a particular person right now, I won't call their names, and I will suggest something that I really feel can no longer continue, or I will request that's enough, please don't do this again. For example, if I'm on a telephone call, it's at that time the person will come in on another call or is talking another conversation about something that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about on the phone. And I've said it over and over again, please don't interrupt my conversations, which are very important, and thinking it's really urgent. And I've seen them doing it over and over again. So then I started to wonder, is it that they're not respecting my wishes? One, is a question to ask. 2, is it that they have wax buildup? 3, is it is it just that I'm not communicating with the right feelings or motives? And so what I've accepted right now in terms of this specific relationship is that they're not emotionally or mentally capable of fulfilling what I need. They're not emotionally or mentally capable of fulfilling what I need. So as a result of that, I have allowed myself to either accept that this is how they're going to be, but it shouldn't affect me anymore, 1, or 2, lock your door and throw away the key, which I've actually done. I've locked the door. Just like, this is enough, I'm locking the door. So I feel like, again, it goes back to what the 3 of us shared. If you're really, really honest with the self, and if you check the way that you're feeling, we will have seasons when we're not operating at our best. And none of us should ever be ashamed of those seasons, because I believe those seasons are actually birthing or creating something more within our beings that is ready to move into another dimension for ourselves.
So if your boundary is a work boundary and you have to say no at work, but you can't say no, which is a lot of us are in that situation, this is a great way to say no without saying no. I'm committed to XYZ that you told me to do last week, or the job that I have right now. Are you asking me to drop that and change it to something else? So you never have to say no. You just like say, these are the commitments that I've made. These are the priorities that we've set. Are we changing priorities? And if so, then you can then say, okay, I'm committed. I'll change my commitment. I can be adaptive. Or no, you don't have to say no. I'm committed to this. Especially like a lot of people ask me to volunteer for things that I don't really want to do, and I don't want to say no because I don't want to hurt their feelings. So I'll say, I'm really committed to, and I stay with the thing that I'm committed to. Like I'm committed that if Sister Jenna asks me for something, I'm going to do it. Reverend Sylvia asked me for something, I'm going to do it. They already have a yes. They know that they have a yes. But there's other people that don't know that. So I just say, I'm committed to Sister Jenna.
Thank you. Stay there, please. And Mira, this might be your question. Oftentimes, I struggle doing things I feel obligated to do versus choosing how or who to spend my time with. Could you answer this?
So it's a very timely question for me because so both my husband and I have families that are very involved in our lives.
That's very royally being put. I just want you to know.
And we're blessed. We're blessed that our family members are the want to be part of our lives. But we've just, and so when they come visit, it's not just a visit, but it's a stay for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, months, which, is pros and cons of both. But we've actually had to set boundaries, talking about boundaries of what my husband and I need right now. Like what is it that we need for ourselves to be better children to our parents. So it's required lots of crucial conversations, but when you're honest with yourself and like what it is that you need, then the conversation is not as difficult as you think it may be. Another example, both my husband and I turned 40 this year, and all of our siblings and our friends are like, oh, what are we doing for your 40th birthday? Let us know so we can start planning. And I had my daughter like within weeks, and everyone is asking what we're gonna do. And the old me would have been like, oh my gosh, Viraj, we need to start planning something so we can let people know and we can give them ample notice so they can plan, because we don't want to be inconvenient to everyone. But then I was like, stop. Like, why am I caring so much about other people? Like, it's gonna stress me out. I already have a lot going on my plate. It's gonna stress me out to plan something, figure out where we're gonna go, what's gonna work for everybody, budget, this and that. And I was like, you know what? I don't wanna do anything with anybody. I just don't. I don't wanna spend my 40th with anybody except for my husband. We haven't had a trip in 2 years. Like, I wanna spend it with him. And because I was so honest with myself, it was so easy to tell our siblings and our friends, we're just gonna take a trip alone. And that was it. So I guess like the lesson that I learned was you just have to be honest. Yeah.
Excellent. I knew you'd be perfect for that question. And again, time and time again, this evening we've brought to the light the virtue of honesty with ourselves, that really is such a prime ingredient for taking care of ourselves. Here's a great one. How do you practice self-care without becoming selfish? And with helping others. Anyone in the first row would like to answer that one? I'm going to take the fifth. Go ahead.
So I grew up in a joint family, meaning it's not very common here in the US, but in India it's very common for families to live together, like brothers living together, and then the parents live with the brothers, so it's like both the brothers, their wives, kids, everyone lives together. But here, I grew up in a joint family where two sisters lived together. So my mom and my aunt, they decided to live together. And so it was my family, me, my dad, my mom, and my sister, and then my aunt, uncle, and their two daughters. So we've been living together since I was in kindergarten. And living in a joint family has a lot of pros, as in it teaches you to be very compassionate and to be very giving and selfless. But as I grew to be become an adult, I was like, wow, I can't be selfish, because I've just learned all my life that we give for everyone. You know, like we're there to support everybody. You put your needs second. And it wasn't until when I was 30 years old, I got divorced. And I, for the first time, was like, being selfish is not such a bad thing. Because I needed to be selfish for my recovery and for my healing. And going back to self-care, is if I started to take care of myself and not worry about what others needed from me, then I can be that daughter, that sister, that friend, and just be the best version of myself. So even now, if I want to do something, I don't have regret or feel bad about it or think that I'm being selfish if I know that it's going to make me be a better version of myself. Now, obviously, there's limits, right? But I learned 10 years ago that being selfish is not bad. It's just such a negative connotation to it, but it really is loving yourself. Yeah.
Thanks, Mira. I was giving a lecture at the World Bank, and I remembered that question came to me as well. And my response that emerged was, if whatever you're about to do or whatever you're doing isn't beneficial for others or yourself, then it might be on the selfish tip. If it's not bringing benefit to others, and I mean that first on a vibrational level, versus just doing for others. I mean, just even to say no in a good space is being selfless. I want you to try to wrap your head around that you can actually tell someone, unfortunately today, I won't be able to do it. There's just something that feels different when you're so purely selfish that you're benefiting yourself, and even when you're not able to give what the other person is asking for, they can still feel your well-being and they will be okay with your response. Does that make sense now what I'm trying to say? So that's where that work, again, the inner work, the spiritual work, the real soul work has to happen. And like Mira was sharing, you know, when you've got a 4-month-old daughter, a 2.5-year-old son, and a husband, and in-laws, and friends, and family, and work, all of these energies are constantly at you. And so your inner being is like, you know, where do you go? So how do you catch yourself when you need to? You know, that's why we have to keep practicing and paying attention. So for her, it might be her ritual for her 15 minutes at night with a candle in the bathroom, or washing the dishes and really feeling the temperature of the water, smelling the soap. That is just her time to just get into her zone. And if she does that over and over and over again, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, she will have acquired a lot of extra energy because she's putting that energy in. And none of us know that day when it'll just click for us. And I can just say, no, I won't be able to today. I'm so sorry. And you're just purely selfish. Because you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of the vibration of the other person as well. So I want us to look at selfishness in that context, where I think it's a completely different structure, right? All right. So I think we're getting to closure. There's one last question. Don't you love this when you get like over 50 and you know you can't see and your glasses are on your shirt and you're like, so good you're young. Okay, my 17-year-old daughter is graduating from high school filled with anxiety and anger. She refuses self-care, positive nurturing coaching, and demands total autonomy. Thank you. And does not demonstrate love, respect, or cooperation. What can we do to create more love for her? Kanu, do you want to touch this?
Wow. Two things are coming up for me. One is the power of ruminating thoughts. And, you know, that's one thing. And the second thing that's coming up for me is the power of good company. And I see this in my own family. My sister and my niece both have a lot of anxiety. My sister would never admit it because she's like on top of everything. But my niece has taken it on and it sort of lives in her. I'm not saying that's the case with with you, the person who asked the question, but I think it's really powerful to know our own good thoughts first and keep good company. Who's the company that she keeps day to day? Who is she hanging out with? Who are her friends? I mean, the power of good company can't be diminished. Just to show you what a friend would do, I'm going to read you the text that Sister Jenna wrote me when I was telling her, I'm rushing to get here. Okay, it was amazing because I thought, this is what a friend does. This is what good company is. So I wrote her, on my way, but won't be there until 7. And then she wrote back, I should have told you there's a lot of traffic. Don't swear, sweat it. Don't sweat it. If you read it both ways, I think it's the company that we keep that it just can't be emphasized enough. I mean, the power of having good friends. I know if you have good friends, how much you value them, because when you're down, they're going to be around to remind you of something different. When you just want to be with your husband, he's going to say, I know, I get you. That's why we're together. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, the power of the company that we keep. So I think as parents, it's a really hard one to do. It's like, can we just love them and not have anxiety that we pass on to them and try to help them find a practical wisdom in a sweet kind of easier, good company way. Does that help?
Yeah, lovely. I'd like to add another story to that as well is For example, teenagers or individuals who are developing their personality, it's very challenging for them to take in new instructions or ideas that might be contrary to where they feel they're going. And this happens also in different relationships with folks where you could encounter, no matter how often you say something to the person, they're not receiving it. It's not vibrating at that level to receive. So what I've done on many occasions, and it has worked, is that let's say I know that you're down, and I can try to tell you, get up, get over it, it's going to be okay. I know that's not going to work. But I start to just create an atmosphere of joy. I make cheese pancakes, which are my favorite. Sorry, all the vegans in the room, I love you anyway. I make cheese pancakes, I just play Stevie Wonder, some nice music or some Indian Bhangra, whatever mood we're in. And the person doesn't know I'm actually trying to get them up and going, but I've created an atmosphere that they do enjoy. And that just brings them back into gear. And then if it's an opportunity that I can raise a question that will be like concerning a particular area that I know they're grappling with, then it starts to have a very, it opens up a very nice conversation. And before you know it, they're in a really much better space. So I've done that on many occasions. It takes more effort on our side because we think it's just easy to just say it and you do it, but it doesn't always work that way. So you can try that as well. So two great ideas that can work. All right, so I think we're going to come to a close of this evening. Thank you all for coming tonight. And thanks to Mira and Dr. Kogod for coming. Please give them a big round of applause. And Dr. Kanu does some brilliant work in coaching and programs, especially with leadership. She's got a book coming out as well soon. And if you've got companies and corporations that are really interested in her style and flow, please do speak to her in the evening and exchange your information with her. I think she's a great asset. Antonia?
Okay, I have a few closing announcements. On Saturday, we have a very special workshop. It's Cooking for Peace. It's a vegetarian cooking class, and it'll be held with Dr. Ruby Lathan and also Santosh, who's our cameraman in the back. So that'll be very nice. That's on Saturday at this location from 1:30 to 3:30. And then on Sunday at the Tyson's Corner location, we have Boost Your Confidence. And that's with Sister Gudrun, who's visiting us from Germany. And that'll be at 11:30 to 1 o'clock at Tyson's Corner. So we hope you'll join us for both events. Just go on our website and sign up to register. Also, we have a lot of other workshops that are posted on our website through June. So you can see those on the website and subscribe also. And we have a free Pause for Peace app that you can download on your phone, which has meditations, videos. Sister Jenna hosts a daily radio show, America Meditating Radio. And we have like 3 years worth of episodes on the app that you can listen to. And it's all about personal development and self-improvement. So check that out, please. And we have a special that we're still running, our Christmas special. We have Off the Grid, Into the Heart, and Inclusion Revolution, which are 2 very nice meditation CDs by Sister Jenna. And we're selling both of them for only $12.99. And you can get those in the back at the reception desk. And we also have a half-price book sale that you can find in the back as well, with a lot of personal development books. Everything is 50% off. So check that out on your way out, please. And now we'll have a closing meditation. And after that, if you can come up row by row, Sister Jenna will be giving Toli to each person along with the blessing card. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you again soon.
I'd like us to, before we leave this evening, if you can highlight 1 or 2 things that really stood out for you tonight that you'd like to practice on the way out. you know. Something that has served my mind a lot is to have very pure feelings for someone when they least know that I'm having pure feelings for them. It's like you can be in the house and you look at your daughter or your spouse or your dog or your cat. It's just, you know, it's as if you're like appreciating their courage, their journey, their story. And from your mind, you're wishing them the best. And so we call that in Indian culture, you know, just giving dua, blessings, very, very pure, auspicious vibrations over that person, that they'll be okay. So try that, especially at work, if you've got challenging colleagues at work. And sometimes when you just are sitting across the room from them, just think about what it is that they are going through and how tough it must be to be them, in a sense that sometimes it's just not easy for them to be sweet or kind. And watch how you feel when you're just having these pure feelings for someone who has no idea that you're thinking the best for them. And you're not going up and telling them, would you believe that an hour ago I was having the best feeling for you and this is how you're going to talk to me? So you don't want that. You know, it doesn't matter, even if they're unkind to you, that's really the sign maybe it is working because it's throwing up their stuff, right? But you just keep having these pure feelings and you'll find how much it's healing you as a person to be a generator of good feelings. That's also a very big form of self-care. Okay? All right, so we'll take a deep breath and Santosh will just play music and I'll do a commentary. Is that good? Yeah? Give a big hand to our master, manager, and technician. He just celebrated his birthday last week. So now you can give him a big birthday gift on the way out. And, you know, a lot of times I think about my own authenticity as a person in this role, and the space that we're in is built out of so much love and dedication, and good people come in here. Really good people. And I was thinking this morning, if each one of us keeps sharing with another person where we were the night before and the impact it had, it keeps amplifying that vibration of spreading goodness and inviting more goodness. Like, that's what we need to do, is to talk about more good, is to see more good, is to be more good, so that we can take better care of ourselves, right? So, okay, make sure your phone is off, silenced at least, and take a deep breath. Take your time to settle inwards behind your eyes. Allow your non-physical energy to begin to increase in its presence and its vibration. Just give yourself some time. And you start to feel like a little bit lighter. Your awareness is becoming more comfortable with the environment. You're in a safe space with good people. Rich conversations, rich ideas. For this last hour and a half, you've been away from drama. And you've seeped yourself into an experience of caring for yourself. Imagine what it would be like if you chose to let go of expectations, criticisms and judgments that you have for yourself and even for others. How would that feel for you? Can you imagine? No more expectations, judgments, or criticisms. My spirit, the soul, is in this state of just acceptance with wisdom, knowing that I will accept what is, what I've been through, what I've gone through with others, but that I'm open for growth and change. I accept it all as it is. Self-care is about acceptance with room to grow. I'm so ready for growth. It's not funny. My spirit signals to me every day, growth is the inevitable. And the sooner I let go of judgment, expectation, and criticism, growth was right there the whole time. So remind yourself, the living being, the soul, the non-physical energy. You know what? Tonight, I'm going to accept you as you are. I'm going to accept everything you've been through. I'm going to always leave room for you to keep growing. From the awareness of your mind, allow your pure vibrations to connect to the source, the unlimited source, the ocean of love, God the Supreme. It's as if you're amplifying the abundance and the beauty of what you're feeling right now when you connect to the source. You're expanding the feelings, naturally growing, reaching the hearts and minds of everyone in connection to me, and even those to come. Take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. Send your pure wishes to the person to your left or to your right. From your mind, wish them well. Wish them to be benefited. Offer them your blessings. Om Shanti. Thank you all. Take it very easy and light with yourselves and be kind to yourselves.